I told Beth, I said, if we miss church, I tell you what, I'm really going to start hating the snow. I said, I hate snow because I'm missing out on church. I want to be in church. I have a desire to be in church, to serve God, to be with my brothers and sisters. I had a guy text me today, he said, hey buddy, where you at? So I'm at my mom and dad's eating breakfast. I was wanting to see if we want to go to the flea market. I looked at the clock and I'm like, buddy, you know I'm in church about this time. Why would you ask me that? And that's all he said. Yeah, listen, this ain't what I got to preach about. This is something that God's leading me to. But I thank God that I have a desire every time the church doors open, whether they're open or not. My desire is to be here serving God.
Amen, brother.
My desire ain't to be up on this stage showing everybody that I can sing, because I care less if I can sing. I can care less if I can drum. I don't care. My desire is to serve the Lord.
Amen, brother. Amen.
Serve God. That's who we're here to serve. If you have your Bibles, you can turn to Matthew chapter 14, verse 22. You know, you hear me say this all the time, that Jesus reaches down like He did Peter, and where I'm going to reach, we read Jesus had to reach down for Peter. I tell you what, if you can't get excited about God every once in a while, then there's nothing to get excited about. There's nothing to get excited about. I tell you what, until 7 o'clock, every night we have church, 7 o'clock hit, I'm out the door. Every church night, 7 o'clock. If I'm a minute over, ask my wife, I'm mad. I'm upset. I got to leave out there at 7 o'clock. Why? Because it's time to get about God's business.
Amen.
I want to get about God's business. So guess what? When I started the car, I had 10 minutes. I told Dad, I said, nothing to do with the Super Bowl, but I want to say this. I said, I got 10 minutes to watch the Super Bowl. I sat down, 5 minutes ago, I was ready to go. I'm done with this. I'm done with this. I want to go to church. I want to praise God. I missed not being here this morning. I don't know about you, but I missed it. I was jealous. I guess you said I was jealous of other churches having church. Yeah, I look at, there's a church having church. There's a church. I said, I wish I was in the house of God. Huh? And not just because I think I'm something. Everybody needs that desire to say, hey, I wish the snow hadn't came. I wish the snow hadn't came. I want to be in the house of God. Whether if it's just for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, it don't matter. As long as you're in the house of God, where you can get strength and growth. I guess everybody's there. Give you enough time. Matthew 14:22. And straightway Jesus constrained His disciple to get into a ship, and to go before Him into the other side. And while He sent the multitude away, when He had sent the multitude away, He went up into the mountain apart to pray. And when the evening was come, He was there alone. But the ship was now in the midst of the sea, tossed with waves, for the wind was contrary. And in the fourth watch of the night, Jesus went unto them walking on the sea. And when the disciples saw Him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, It is a spirit. And they cried out for fear. And straightway Jesus spake unto them, saying, Be of good cheer, it is I, be not afraid. And Peter answered Him and said, Lord, if it be Thou, bid me to come unto Thee on the water. And He said, Come. And when Peter was come down out of the ship, he walked in the water to go to Jesus. But when he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, and cried, saying, Lord, save me. And immediately Jesus stretched forth His hand, and caught him, and said unto him, O thou of little faith, wherefore didst thou doubt? And when they were come into the ship, the wind ceased. And then they that were in the ship came and worshipped Him, saying, O, of a truth, Thou art the Son of God. You know, the Lord spoke to me, I was reading this today, and He said, there's plenty of times He had to try to convince His disciples that He was the Son of God. He had to still, even though they followed Him, I still believe that He still had to convince them that He was the Son of God. And they seen that this man walking on the water, coming out to them, walking to them, when everything was turmoil, just terrible around them, things were going back and forth, probably someone being sick on the boat. Like I said, I got to thinking also that some of the disciples, they're fishermen, they're probably used to these rough waters, but the other ones, they wasn't. They probably just sat in their house all day, did their job on land, went back to their house on land, and never probably touched the water once a bit. And then they're getting knocked around, to and fro, here or there. And someone's probably hanging over the side of the boat, throwing up. Like Dad said he did when he went deep sea fishing. He said that boat was rocking and rocking and rocking. He was so sick. I believe there was disciples that did that. But it says that they was afraid. They wasn't all afraid. And then they all was afraid when I seen the Spirit walking out. But one of them Peter decided, hey, Lord, if it's you, bid me to come. And the Lord said, come. And he stepped out on the water. He was on the water. I don't care if it was an inch thick. I don't care if it was 50 foot deep. Hey, I tell you what, I believe he walked on water. I believe he walked on water. And then he got going. He got going. And then it said the wind started picking up a little bit. And what did he do? He turned. And he looked at the wave. Like sometimes people look at life circumstance. Well, the devil might throw a storm our way. They want to look at the storm instead of put their eyes on the Lord. And they start sinking. They start sinking. The next thing you know, they're gasping for air. Have you ever, I tell you what, I remember one time I was at a friend's house swimming. I couldn't swim, so I guess I was just sitting in the pool. I was there, and they pulled me away, and I dropped like a rock. And they lifted me up. I was gasping for air. I believe people that get like that today, they take their eye off the Lord, and they look at the circumstance. And the next thing they know, they're gasping for air. They're, help, Lord, I need your help. And they reach up. And it said that immediately he reached down and he picked him up. I do believe that's the same way with us. Amen. As soon as we find out that, hey, we need Jesus' help, and immediately he reaches down. Amen. Immediately he reaches down. So many times people want to say, well, the devil caused me to trip. No, I don't believe he did. The devil don't cause you to trip. You cause yourself to trip. You cause yourself to drown. The devil didn't make Peter look at the wave. The devil didn't make Peter do this. Peter did it all on his own. Peter looked away from the Lord. And what happened? He found himself in a circumstance. Found himself in a circumstance. Like someone here tonight, they're in a circumstance. Because they looked away from God just a little bit. Just a little bit. It's all it takes. You look away from God, you find yourself in a circumstance. You're gasping for air. You're trying to swim to the top. Trying to do everything you can do. But the last thing we're reminded, for some reason, is to call out on the Lord. But then when we finally get, Lord, I need your help. There he is. Immediately, he reaches down. I like in there, I like when it says that when him and Peter got back, the storm ceased. And the storm went away. It just went away, Blaine. Where'd it go? It went away. And it said the disciples came and watched him and knew that he was a true Son of God. Why was he the true Son? I'll tell you what. Me, personally, I cannot step on a boat after walking on water and a storm be still. Me, personally. But I ain't the Jesus. I'm not Jesus. I ain't the one that has power over all. Over all. He's got power over all things. All things. He's got power over wind. He's got power over rain. He's got power over snow. He's got power over everything. He's got power over the devil. He gives us that power. He gives us that power. So many times when we start hearing songs